Hello, my name is Ogor Winnie Okoye. Thank you so much for stopping by. So I'm going to keep this video really short and straight to the point. So the topic that I wanted to talk about today is listening when life speaks to you. So, as most of you life is constantly speaking to us. Or if you don't know it today that life, every minute of your life is constantly speaking to you. And sometimes the message that life has for us is usually, or might not be the message that we expect to hear. You know how it is when you tell your kids to do something? They do it anyways, but they do it grudgingly, or they do it while complaining, or they do it, while being grumpy. Are they really listening? Believe it or not, we adults behave generally like children when life is speaking to us. We do it anyways, but we do it grumpy, we do it while whining, we do it while complaining, we do it unhappily. So, personally for me, listening means accepting, being patient, being finding the fun in it, or doing it happily, trying to make it worthwhile, even though it's not necessarily the message that we want to hear. So, the best way for you to do it well is to be in tune. And when I say be in tune, I've said this before in some topics that I explored. When I say be in tune, I mean making sure that your thoughts, words, and action throughout the course of the day is properly aligned with the force of love. Properly aligned with the force of love. Try your possible best to make sure that you're not thinking ill of people, you're not speaking ill of people, you're not doing bad to people, and that you're constantly channeling your thoughts to things that are wholesome, not thoughts of fear or thoughts of intimidating people or thoughts of trying, I'm going to get you. Those are destructive thoughts, they're not productive thoughts. So, listening very well when life speaks to you is probably the most, I think, for me personally, one of the best ways to record success for your life. Let me relate an incident that happened to me this morning. So one of the mornings that I woke up, actually I woke up with a pain in my back because I tore some muscle in my back while trying to do my sit-up, but that's beside the point. But I woke up with that pain and I'm like, this pain is not going to stop me. I took 2 Advils, woke up the kids, got the kids ready for school on time, dropped the kids off. I was tuned in. I was having a great day. I was in harmony. Another way that I saw life speaking to me was when I dropped off my little baby in the daycare center, and then I saw my favorite baby. There's a baby in the youngest section of the daycare that is just too cute. So I saw them when I dropped off the kid, when myself and the child's mom were entering at the same time, entering the daycare center. And I'm like, listen, it's a good day. I'm seeing this cute, beautiful baby, just too cute. And I exchanged, greetings with the mom, and I reminded her again. I always do it. She probably is sick and tired of hearing this from me, but she has the cutest baby on earth. I'm not even kidding. So for me, that was a sign. Life speaking to me. It's a good day. It's a great day. So I dropped off my last baby at the daycare center. That's my baby, my 2-year-old, and hit the road. And I was so happy because this is a day that I have a big trial. I prepared the day before so much for the trial. I am ready. I look good. I know my arguments, I know my law, I know my facts, I am ready to go. And I have ample time so I can actually enjoy the radio, tuning to my favorite tunes. And, you know, I get into the car and I'm driving, and then what comes up on the radio? My absolute favorite, or one of my favorite music. It's Viva La Vida by, I think it's Coldplay. Yeah, Coldplay, Viva La Vida. So I'm dancing, I'm enjoying myself. I am 1 mile from the courthouse, and all of a sudden, traffic just appears from nowhere when I'm like 1 mile literally from the courthouse. So it was 10 minutes to 9 by the time I got to the 1 mile mark to the courthouse. I'm having fun. I am in tune with the force. I am in harmony, just having fun, dancing, singing loud, being happy. And then I meet this traffic. Oh my goodness. And I thought, okay, the traffic is probably going to clear in the next couple minutes. And okay, long story short, I sat on that traffic for the next half an hour. And inside me, initially, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, on a day of trial, keep the jurors waiting, keep the court waiting, keep the judge waiting. Oh my goodness, who knows the judge that I'm going to have in the trial session? Lawyers can relate to what I'm saying. It's not a good thing to be late for court on the day that you have a trial, you have a client waiting. Oh my goodness. So I start losing transmission. I realized that I was losing transmission because I was getting increasingly anxious and increasingly, uncomfortable and increasingly stressed out because I knew it was not good. And then I had to quickly remind myself that this is life talking to me right now. Sometimes when it talks to you, when you accept it grudgingly. Now is your test time, so you better accept it and listen real good to life speaking to you. So I flipped it all around, put back the radio on, and see what happened. While I was stressing, I shut off the radio because I was completely tuned out. Negative thoughts came in, the fear, the stress, the worry, the madness, And so I put back the radio on. Oh my goodness, another great song that I like on the radio. And I sat back and I just went with the flow. I had to accept it and release it. I'm thinking I woke up today, I did everything right, I had ample time to be in court, and still this happened. So life was speaking at me at that critical moment. And so I had to turn it around. I had to listen. And part of listening is listening with faith, listening while you're happy, listening, believing in the best possible outcome. And that was what I decided to do. And then all of a sudden, after half an hour, the traffic starts moving and I get to the courthouse. I met my client outside, and my client said, oh, a case had been called and it's going to be called again. The judge said to wait for the attorney. And then I went into the courtroom and I sat down and I noticed, but I was in harmony. I was tuned in at the time. I sat down and I noticed the clerk say, anyone's case ready at this time? And I noticed the judge mouthing. I could see he spoke my client's name, and then the clerk calls my case. I was just stepping into the courtroom. I hadn't sat down for at least 1 minute. My case is called. And I stood up and I said to the judge, Your Honor, I apologize. Something is happening on the road today. I don't know what it was. And the judge said, that's okay. And then, to my utter shock, the government said, Your Honor, a critical witness, did not show up. And I'm thinking, can this be happening? Is it possible that the whole day that I spent yesterday preparing for this case, that God just wants me to have the most amazing day and wanted my client to also have the most amazing day? The case is going to be dismissed. And the judge looked at me and I'm like, Your Honor, I'd ask that the case be dismissed for one of prosecution. And lo and behold, case is dismissed. And guys, believe it or not, I stepped in the courtroom and within 3 minutes, I'm stepping out of the courtroom. So here is the lesson that I want to share. I was the last person who came into that courtroom, and I was the very first person who was done with her business and walked away from the courtroom. So in life, sometimes life presents like that. Don't worry, don't fuss about it. Everyone is getting it and you're not. Your time will come, but you're going to have to listen and listen good to life, not listen while you're whining or while you're complaining. So I had to share this lesson because this for me was a very pivotal teaching moment about listening very well when life is speaking to you. Okay, so no matter what it is you're going on today, please do not tune out. That means make sure that your thoughts, your words, and your action are as close as possible to the force of love. Okay, and I promised I would keep this brief. I don't know if I did, but until next time, it's me, Ogor. Just take care.